Hello, gorgeous. Today we are speaking about this idea of getting turned on and how we women get turned on very differently than men. So I'm going to dive into that today. My name is Jessica Angeleri. I'm a feminine embodiment and pleasure intimacy coach, and I speak about all things related to sexuality, relationships, self-love, and embodying the feminine. And if you are new to my channel, hello, welcome. I'm so happy that you are here. And if you have been following me, I'm so grateful as well that you are here. So let's dive into it. Now, I want to just begin by saying that a woman will only know herself and her sexuality depending on the way that she connects with herself, how embodied she is, how safe she is to fully surrender, the way that she loves on herself, the way that she's receptive, and the way that she really embraces pleasure and feels every part of her body. And this is what sexuality really is when a woman truly knows herself. Well, this is where it all begins, and how she really feels into her orgasmic pleasures. It's when a woman feels into her primal life force and she knows and expresses her deepest, her sensuality. Now, if a woman does not know how to access this power of her sexuality within her, then this is when we start to get caught up into the external ideas of what sexuality is. This is how we start to feel blocked off from receiving pleasure. And it's no fault of our own. It's the conditioning that we have around sex. We've been educated that our sexuality and sensuality is tied to performance, to perfection. It's tied to how perfect your body is, how perfectly your body can move in a certain way. And it's tied to what we do in the bedroom. And we see this a lot in movies. We see this a lot in social media as well. We've been miseducated around the concepts around sexuality. So there are many myths or conditionings that have created this sense of disconnection or misuse of sexuality. So we might use it as a way to gain approval or validation, or maybe we've completely feared or have felt shame around our sexuality and the way that we express it. Now, I have done a video if you want to check that out. So I'll drop that link, and it's about the 5 myths around sex. Now, because of these conditionings, we have felt shame around even speaking about what turns us on or about our sexuality. And it's a real difficult topic to speak about because of the amount of shame that we carry in the body as women. And for us women, our body might tense up. We may feel lost when it comes to feeling aroused, or when it comes to tuning into what we desire, what we like, what makes us feel good. So even with me speaking about this today, what happens? What are you feeling in your body right now? Even if I just say the word sex or pleasure. Check in with yourself. Do you feel tight in your chest or in your belly? And this is very common for a lot of women. But in tantric traditional practices, they show us that our sexuality is not limited to this one act. It goes beyond that, and it takes us into these different places that can help us feel pleasure and joy. It's what connects us with our real authentic expression, the wild woman that we all are. And that's what I love to bring to women in my spaces, is to help women to feel so open and safe as well, to know what this pleasure really feels like. And that can go beyond the orgasms. It's a pathway to this truth, to really know your soul. That's what this exploration of sexuality is. So, what if we saw your sexuality and sensuality as this feeling into the innocence and the truest part of who you are, and not something that we arrive at, not an outcome? It's this place that helps us to get in contact with your great, wild, expressive, natural self. So I feel like redefining this, we can know that our sexuality and what turns us on as well is determined by our internal world and the aliveness that we feel, the way that we engage with pleasures and the good sensations. And that's how we increase our ability to be turned on in and out of the bedroom. But this aliveness and this connection to pleasure, which helps us to feel turned on, I feel like it's quite non-existent for a lot of women. And I don't blame us at all. We've been molded in the way that we think, that we do things, even in the way that we're supposed to sound and have sex. So your healthy sexuality, the way you know yourself, is all related to your own sexuality, and not the ideas of sex in the eyes of society or media, or that it is for someone else. Your sex is yours, and it is your connection to your soul. You are that powerful. You as a woman is the vessel for this. I mean, think about the power of your sexuality. It creates life, and it creates life throughout all of your body. And it's this energy that connects you to everything that you feel within you. It connects you to your heart, to your truth. And this is all related to how you know yourself, how you are connected with your body, how deeply you can relax into your body, how much you can make sounds and really be tapped into touch, and your ability to feel safe in your body, your ability to expand and feel that aliveness in your body. But we need to know how to feel safe. We need to register safety in the body first to know how that feels like, that feels authentic to you. Because as I said, for a very long time, we've been numbed, or we feel blocked, or we feel our body contracts. And that's not serving your great radiance. It's not serving your ability to be turned on in sexual experiences and in life. The thing we have to understand is that we women are different than men. We are different in the way that we receive pleasure. You get turned on when you are fully relaxed, when you learn how to slow down, when you are attuned to your senses. You are the vessel, and we can start enjoying this through practicing what pleasure feels like on our own, because your pleasure is the pathway to cultivating your sexuality by turning towards external sources such as visual stimulation or toys. These are external things, and yes, okay, they might work on some level and they can be fine, but they are really only temporary fixes. The true magic for spicing up your wildness and aliveness comes from within. As I said, it's the connection with your internal world. And you can access this truest power of your feminine from the inside of you. And you can access this all the time. That's the power of being a woman. For me, my greatest beautiful journey to sexuality and Tantra was really knowing how to surrender to everything rather than focusing on the performance side of things. That all this idea, this image of sex, and what we've learned from media, from too many Samantha Sex and the City episodes, that this orgasmic feeling happens in that 30 seconds only, or that it happens just with quick kissing and then that's it, we're done. No, it's the journey. It's this acceptance of all the emotions and the energies moving through you. It's your ability to surrender and receive him fully. I want you to be able to know what that feels like. Before I started practicing Tantra, I would be either thinking or in this performance mode and trying to please and playing this role and being dominant or being sexy. And there's nothing wrong with all of that, but I knew that it wasn't coming from within. It was coming from the external ideas of what it needs to look like, what sex needs to look like. And there must be something wrong with me if I don't meet those, if I don't meet that wild image that we're all given. There is a difference when this expression is coming from your authentic space, from your heart, and when it's not. And now when I'm making love in my beautiful relationship, I'm in a completely different space. I feel recharged deeply, and it's a time where I'm fully connected with myself first, with my pleasures and how I'm feeling and what's making me feel good in that moment. And then with that, I'm also able to connect with my partner. I'm completely and fully surrendered to him. And that's because I trust him and I feel his presence. We're both breathing together. We're connecting with our sounds. We're making eye contact. We might have spent some time speaking and being really close together and carving out that space for one another, and not necessarily even focusing on the outcome. And instead, we're just in the moment, we're present, and we're focusing on what's there alive between us and what's how good I'm feeling in the presence of him. I feel safe with him. My heart is safe. And I know I can truly just be fully me, not focused on an outcome or the performance. So once you realize the potency of that your pleasure exists within you, you realize that your sexiness, your beauty, your feminine desires depends on your divine radiance, your connection with your spirit, with your heart, rather than your perfect body. It's just you and your natural sexual experience, your expression. So it's my soul's mission to share my experience of my sexuality and to help women realize that they don't have to work out every day to look like a model or be the fittest person, to be the sexiest and the most desirable woman, to deserve to feel good and to really get turned on. No, the medicine is not in how fit you are, how flat your stomach is. Yes, of course, we need to feel good. We need to feel healthy. But your ability to be turned on and your radiance will exude from your ability to be so relaxed in your body, experiencing what is alive. You can't fully experience pleasure when you're being restricted, when you don't feel present, with him, when your mind is racing, thinking about what you need to do next, ticking off all the boxes, or when your objective is just to please him. And even when you're afraid to say no, I'm not ready. I'm not feeling open today, or I'm not feeling you present today. So you have to know your body, sister. You have to know your voice, start practicing what that feels like to be fully expressed, to dismantle the shame around your body and your expression. And we can do this through beautiful pleasure work. When you can orient back into your body and your own sexual energy in any kind of expression that's not sexualized and that's not related to sex, and you claim back your sensuality in your own authenticity, however that feels for you. So this might be exploring your wild side in your intuitive movements, you practicing your breath, how to anchor into your body through your breath, you connecting with your womb, you developing a relationship with your vagina, with your yoni. It starts here. Your yoni is your greatest gatekeeper of your womanhood. And she will teach you as well when you are ready and when you are not, when you are turned on, when you are boiled up enough to open yourself to someone else. She will teach you when it is, well, she will share with you when it is a no. And if you are feeling confident enough to listen to her, it takes a lot of vulnerability to go there and develop that ability to connect with her, but that is available to you all the time. She will tell you when it is a yes and when she feels like she's ready to receive. We have to stop rushing the process. And this idea of connecting with your yoni is something that I teach in my program as well, Feminine Remembrance. We have to start taking our time. It can take up to 30 minutes to be fully aroused. We need to boil the water, and it's not a quick switch. Your body is so intelligent. She will know when you are ready and when you are not. Your yoni will know when you are ready and when you are not. Your heart will know as well. Your heart and your yoni are connected. Your yoni is very receptive and will call you in if you are ready. So give yourself a minute before penetration. There is an entry and an adjusting period that needs to take place. So just let the body orient on its own. You have to know that we women can get turned on very differently than men. And this is nothing to feel ashamed about. This is just the way that we've been built. For a woman to feel sexual, her heart must be open. And that's why I said your yoni and your vagina and your heart are connected. You must feel safe to be fully open. When you're chasing this feeling or the outcome, what you're doing is you're cutting yourself off from your heart. And your focus is just purely on the pelvic floor, on the pelvic area. And afterwards, you might find yourself depleted after a sexual act, or you might feel yourself going into this feeling of sadness or anger or frustration. And that tends to build up as well. So when you're just disappearing into your genital areas, you're completely missing out on your heart, which is where all of your power is as well. This is where the magic and this expansion, this aliveness is really felt when you're focusing on the heart as well, if not first. This is where your power is as a woman, as well as your yoni, your vulva, your womb area. And for a man, his power or his initial burst of aliveness comes through his genitals first and then his heart. So for a man's heart to be open, his sexuality needs to be engaged. We all know this. For example, men respond more when he feels our feminine energy, and when we're connected with our sensuality, when we're exploring our what makes us feel alive. And this opens his heart. This energizes his heart. This is how he connects with you, by receiving this part of you. And this is what makes us different. This is what makes the duality beautiful, the dance of the feminine and masculine. For us women, it's the other way around. When a man is listening to our heart and he's able to communicate with us and he can make us feel safe, that helps us to feel open with him. For a woman's sexuality to be open, her heart needs to be opened first. And it's only then that she feels safe in opening her heart, that she feels that she can totally be surrendered and sexually open with him. Always remember that. And sure, a woman can have sex without her heart involved, for sure. But after time, that's where some of those emotions of anger or frustration can arise. So, my beautiful sisters, we need to communicate with him from this space of love. We need to tell him that in order for you to be sexually open, you need to feel loved. You need to feel his presence. You need to feel safe. You need time to warm up and to be connected through different pleasure practices that aren't directly linked to your sex. And you can say to him, I feel that you're not present, or I feel that you're stressed right now, and I'm just not feeling my heart is able to connect with that with you. Perhaps we can sit down together and talk about it, but I'm not feeling turned on in this moment. We need time to turn on. When I can open my heart to you, I then am able to feel sexually open with you. We need to understand that it's not always about him as well. It's not only his responsibility to help you open your heart. It is your responsibility to know you, to know your energy, to know yourself, to know what makes you feel present, to know what makes you feel open and safe in the body. So focus on your heart. You can even do it right now. You can place your hands on your heart, or one hand to heart, one to womb. I have a couple of these practices in my channel that you can check out as well, and I'll drop the link to help you get connected with your heart space. And breathe into your heart. Start practicing what it feels like to drop from your mind. We cannot feel turned on when we are in the mind, and when the mind is in use, we need to drop down. Place your attention on your heart and breathe into your heart. And how do you receive yourself in your heart? So every time you talk and you're interacting with your beloved, place your attention in your heart space. This is where you will access your fullest power. Your heart is your feminine power, and then your other feminine heart is your yoni. And they're connected. One does not work without the other. And another way we can open our heart and start really igniting this love within us is to connect with your breasts. I've also done another video in this, so you can check that out, and how I love using the breast massage as a way to be turned on and to start knowing what kind of touch you like, and to know that your breasts are so sacred and they are the connection to your heart. It is this place of energy. We need to bring more attention into the sensitivities of this area. And to know, actually, this is where a lot of our turn on actually arises from. Believe it or not, we can have very different types of orgasms that you can have as well by just touching your breasts. This is a part of you that really increases that feeling of happiness and bliss because it's connected to your heart, right? So, sister, it's time that you turn on your sensuality and extracts that delicious nectar within you through pleasure practices. This is where you become the most connected to your intuition, and you can start to connect with that, what turns you on in life. Start knowing yourself, know your energy, know what makes you feel connected, know what makes you feel safe. And you can practice using pleasure again as a way to start registering that safety within yourself, to calmly come back to this safe container in the body. When you feel calm and safe in the body, then you bring a whole new meaning to what it feels like to experience pleasure, to be so turned on. And then when you are in an intimate experience with your partner, and perhaps you're not feeling turned on, you know why. You know that there is nothing wrong with you, and you don't start shaming yourself. There are many factors, as we know, that can be contributing to this. We live in a very fast-paced world that values production. So we just need practice to keep slowing down. This is how we know ourselves. This is how we know what turns us on. This is how we know our desires. This is how you also know what you want. And then you start to really reclaim what you want. And you express this to your loved one. When you start to develop this relationship with yourself, with your body, your heart, you also start to acknowledge the guilt and the shame that you might be carrying around your sexuality. And this is also generational as well. So just remember, your sexuality is yours. We are turned on very differently than men. We are turned on when our heart is turned on, when our yoni is turned on, when we feel safe, when we feel open, when we feel relaxed, when we practice nourishment. And you can start doing this for yourself. Remember this. We cannot pretend to be like men. We are just not. And I'm glad that we're not, because we have so many beautiful gifts to offer one another. So instead of waiting for a man to turn you on and to please you, you have the power, you have the gifts of pleasure right here inside of you. And your wild woman is just waiting for you to switch that light on. Thank you so much for listening, my beautifuls. Let me know how that landed with you in the comments. And yes, let me know if, yes, I'm going to start connecting with my heart first. If you liked this video, don't forget to like it. Make sure to follow me if you are not yet already, if you haven't subscribed. And thank you so much for being here. Feeling so good after that sharing with you today. Thank you, my love. All my love to you. Sending you so much love, pleasure, and passion to you. Mwah. Bye.